Hello everybody, welcome back to the Dahlia Society. I'm Kristen and today I'm going to bring a pattern to you that is a most popular Vogue design. See if you can guess which one it is. Well, if you listen to the Love to Sew episode 117, I think it was, Carlos Correa from Vogue Pattern Designs was talking about the most popular pattern that they've had in the last couple of years. And I'm sure you will have seen it on Instagram because it's been hugely successful. A lot of people have adapted it. It's the Vogue or V9253 and I'm wearing it today. I'll give you a little glimpse of it. In a chartreuse linen. It's personally one of my favorites because I find it the most adaptable pattern for dressing up, giving it a really glamorous look, or dressing it down more casual through the day, spring summer type of dress. And the linen just gives it that little bit more of a casual effect. Carlos was talking about the popularity of the dress and how it really surprised a lot of the designers because they thought because the V was so plunging and so dramatic, a lot of people would be scared off by that. But I think a lot of people have learned to adapt that or bring up the neckline to suit whatever level they like. For me, I usually bring it up quite a bit. So this one's about 10 centimeters up. I'll show you a little hack I've done just a bit later on about how I've adapted that neckline. Personally, most people know for me, I'm a big fan of indie designers and the patterns and the way they fit my body. But with the big four patterns, in particular the Vogue, the Very Easy Vogue, I find they always fit really well. I always have no trouble at all with those type of patterns. The pattern comes in two separate envelopes. You can either get the size 4 to 18 or 16, and then I think it's 16 to 22. So you can pick either of the pattern sizes, which is great. The only problem with me is that my daughter wanted one and she's about a size 8, so I had to buy the two separate patterns, but I did that because I knew how well the pattern worked. Now we'll talk a little bit about the pattern and I'll pop some line drawings up and also some photos of me in my separate designs that I've made. The first one I've got on is the linen in the chartreuse. And that one I made in the midi length. I shortened the sleeves quite a bit as well. And I used about 4 meters of a 112 width linen. It is quite a fabric hungry pattern. So when it does say that you need 4 to 5 meters, believe me, you will use it because of the way that the dress is cut. It's got the seam line. So you'll have 2 separate pieces for the front and the back. It does use up quite a bit of volume of fabric. And especially because the sleeves are like grown on kimono style sleeves, you'll find that when you're cutting at the bodice bit that you'll use up quite a lot of fabric width for the sleeve in particular. It calls for bias binding. Now I made my own bias binding out of my own fabric, but one of the patterns I've used a contrasting red color bias binding, so you can use those color pops for trims if you like that internal look on the inside to be a bit more interesting. So I'll show you some pictures of what I've made. The first one I've got is the linen chartreuse that I'm wearing at the moment. That's the midi one. The other one I made last year, I wore it out to our 25th wedding anniversary dinner and I made it from a rayon crane print, a beautiful oriental or Japanese inspired print. With the rayon, you'll find it makes a beautiful drapey floaty style of kimono dress more than the linen and the structured fabric does. With the maxi dress, I think I used about 5 meters, but that was a 150 width. So it does call for a bit more fabric, but I think the wider the fabric, you've got more usage with, you know, looking at pattern placement and that type of thing. Look really carefully at the width of your fabric and don't shortcut yourself because you want to get that right line, that empire line dress shape, because otherwise you will end up cutting a little bit off the width and it'll affect the A-line kind of style of the dress if you cut that off. So yeah, the crane print one was absolutely stunning on. It's so comfortable to wear. And you've got the tie, which you can do a lot of different ways. Some people wrap it around twice, some people just wrap it in the front. The linen one is a lot more structured, as you can see. It's a stiffer kind of a fit, and you know, the natural look of the linen, you'll get creasing and that sort of thing, but I think it just adds to the lovely casual kind of soft effect of it. Third one I made was for my daughter Charlotte. I made it in a really bright retro rainbow print from Spotlight, and we actually had a 50th birthday for my husband this year. We had a 1969 theme, so we went right out with the hippie theme. Everyone dressed up either mod or hippie. We had an absolute ball. I'll pop some photos up of her in that. I thought it was a perfect style for that kind of a theme, and the satin just gave it that beautiful fluid drape. So you can see every time it's made in a different fabric, it changes the whole look of the dress. So it's very adaptable, and you can be really creative with your fabric choice. It does call for a lightweight cotton, rayon, or lightweight linen, but I think you could be also more creative in your choices. You could look at maybe a cotton lawn, maybe more of a broadcloth, like a lightweight. Another thing I'm interested to see is the dress, if it's made up, it says you can make it in a lightweight jersey. Now I think that would be fantastic because you could get rid of the zip at the back. You wouldn't need the zip at all, so you could, you know, cut down your sewing time there, and yeah, you could just wrap it around with a belt to bring it in, because it's got quite a bit of ease in the actual lower part of the dress. Now with the Vogue patterns, I always go by my upper bust measurement, because that way I know my shoulders will fit. Now I looked at the pattern measurements and it was putting me right up at the scale, more of the top end of the chart of the sizing, but when I made my first twill out of just a really cheap sort of cotton, it was huge. And then I thought I'd scale down a bit to I think it was a 16, and then the bust bit here wasn't quite enough room, so I've gone for a size 18, and that fits me perfect. Around the middle, I wouldn't want to go any less, because you're going to still get that bit around the rib cage that's quite fitted with the bust darts. So don't go down too far in your sizing. Be very careful. So I'd suggest making up a mock-up or a twill first to get your sizing right. This one I actually did the internal side with French seams. I actually hadn't done many French seams before, and I know you needed a bit more extra fabric to allow for that, the seam allowance shrinkage. I just couldn't be bothered changing my black overlocking thread, so I thought I'd be a little bit lazy, but I'd use up the rest of my fabric, and it's made the internal side of things look really nice. I'm going to show you a little bit of video footage of me making up my bodice. So the first thing I'm doing is the forward pleats on the bust, or just under the bust of the top of the dress. And you'll see here it tells you to fold over the pleats where the dots are. I usually mark a bit of a chalk line and rule little lines on. And so you're folding towards the V. So you'll see the little tuck there and there. Then I just pin those and then baste along the bottoms to keep it still. With the back bodice darts, I usually, a little trick I learned is to cut open the dart and fold it back. So then when you're tracing with your chalk, you just run along the lines here, and it gives you a really nice straight dart. And then we're going to pin these and stitch the backs as well. So there's the basting done for those front pleats. We just need to go and press those now. And that was the front and the back, same thing. Back darts are done, and we need to press those as well. Open them out, and then we'll just show you a little quick run through the construction of the front V. I was asked a few questions on one of my vlogs recently. In particular, I showed I think a pattern of one of these dresses that I liked, was going to make up, and a subscriber actually asked me how I alter my deep plunging V, and I'll pop a little video so you guys can have a look at how I do that. Now this Vogue 9253 has got a really deep neckline, and that's probably something I wouldn't wear without altering it. So I'm just going to show you guys how I alter mine. I usually do about a 10 centimeter alteration. So I'll turn, once we put the bias binding on, we've got the skirt and the top all connected. So then I'll go back in and turn it inside out, and I will just pin along here and go up to, like, pin it to where you think you like it, then try it on. And then you just stitch really close to the edge, and then you'll just press it flat, so it'll open out, and it'll all join up once it's sewn. I'll show you when it's finished. So that's stitched about 10 centimeters, just close together, and we've pressed it flat. And as you can see, it gives a really nice open V still, but without being really daring. So that's how I adjust mine. So if you're looking for something with that bit of a wow factor and you love that Japanese inspired or floaty caftan inspired dress, this is the one for you, the V9253. I know a lot of people have done reviews on it. I just wanted to bring you something that I know personally worked for me and that I was put off at first because of the very dramatic low plunging neckline. But yeah, you can adapt that to make it whatever level you're comfortable with in how much cleavage you want to show and what kind of season you want to wear it in. It is a great one for wearing layered. You can wear it like a polo neck top for winter and tights and boots, that's fine. That way you wouldn't need to worry about altering the V because you've got your layering, or you can pop a cami underneath it as well. People have done that too. My favorite one I've seen on Instagram is from, I think it's That Black Chic. Beautiful fabric choice. It's just stunning on her skin color. She looks amazing in that. So I'll pop some little photos of that up as well. So a perfect retro design dress that they've brought back in to make it more modern. Very popular. Look at the hashtag V9253 on Instagram and you will find so much inspiration on there. So I hope you can make it work for you. I want to say a huge thank you to Tamlin and Keely for popping a little shout out to me on the latest collab that we did. I have gained a lot of followers due to those girls, so I am so thankful. And I'd also like to say thank you to one of my subscribers who just recently told me that I should set up a coffee account, which I hadn't really heard of before, and she said it would make would help me with my channel to make it grow and evolve into what I want. So you're under no pressure at all to donate to that. It's totally up to you. A lot of the vloggers use those to help set up for their content and to make more and more new and interesting episodes evolve for them. So thank you so much to the subscribers for your input. I've had so much great feedback on my episodes and I hope to bring you some more fantastic episodes in the future. Thanks for watching today. I hope you'll go online and have a look at these dresses and I will see you next time. Bye for now.